Hey everyone, welcome to GTA Charts, and I'm very pleased today to be bringing you our latest product, the Pot Limit Omaha Preflop Guru. Now, as you may or may not know, one of the reasons it's so hard to create a PLO preflop chart is the sheer number of possible starting hands. So if you look up here, I've made a catch phrase. There are 270,725 starting hands in PLO. So it's near impossible to capture that in the charts that we're used to. Like if you look at no limit hold'em charts, it's quite easy to portray pre-flop ranges in those. However, I think I've come up with a way to overcome a lot of those hurdles, and firstly I've broken hands down into hand classes and also hand categories. Now first of all, let's have a look at the hand classes. Actually, first of all, let's go and look at just the overall layout of the program. There's 3 tabs here, you can see. One's for early position, when you're under the gun, or middle position. Now, those ranges are not quite exactly the same, under the gun and middle position, but close enough. And late position, cutoff or button, again, ranges are close. If obviously buttons opening a bit wider than cutoff, but if you stick to pretty much as close to this as possible, you're going to get it right. Well, you're going to get it much better than you are at the moment, I'm sure, as to know what hands to open. I'll go into this in a bit more depth later. And then we have another tab here, the cold calling, 3-betting and 4-betting, where this is where hand categories are used. Rather than in these spots, we used hand classes. Now, if we look at here, if you don't understand what hand classes are, they're double suit, single suit, rainbow, triple suit, and mono. And up here, if we click here, this opens up here and gives us some examples of double suited hands. So obviously double suited. So ace queen of diamonds with a 8 of clubs, queen of clubs is double suited. And then this hand, not so good as the other one, but 2 of hearts, 3 of hearts, 8 of clubs, 10 of clubs, 2 suits, 2 cards of each suit. Then we have single suited, similar thing, except we only have 2 cards of the same suit. Then we have rainbow, all the cards are the same suit, and triple suited, so 3 cards of the same suit. And then mono, all cards are the same suit. Now, you use hand classes when you use these first 2 tabs, early position and late position, and we use hand categories when we're using this one. We'll get to that later, but again, we can pull this down here and see all examples of hand categories. Now, hand categories are broken down into these categories: aces, Broadway pairs, 3 Broadways plus 1 non-Broadway, double paired rundowns, 2 Broadway, 2 medium low connectors, 3 card rundowns plus 1 Broadway, mid-low pairs, and ragged hands. Some are self-explanatory. Obviously, aces are any hand with aces in them. Broadway pairs are 2 big cards. Where 2 of those cards are Broadway cards. Then 3 Broadways and 1 non-Broadway. Ace, Jack, 10, for instance, there's 3 Broadways. Double paired is pretty straightforward. Kings and jacks, 2s and 5s, 7s and 8s. Rundowns are cards that run down 8, in this instance 8, 6, 5, 4. Can be 1 gapper, maybe 2 gappers at most. 2 gapper is more, for 1 card is probably as far as you want to go with rundowns. 2 Broadways, 2 medium, so a king and a 10 with a 5 and a 4, king and an ace with a 6 and a 7. We also have 3 card rundowns plus 1 Broadway, so an 8, 6, 5 with the Broadways, the king. Mid-low pairs where we have 9 there, we have 8s there, we have 7s there, and ragged hands are just hands that are just sort of all a little bit connected here, like king 10, 9, but with this big dangler here, a 3, or a queen jack 8 with a 2. I will not go further into that, but the examples are there if you sort of get confused as to what I'm talking about when we go down here. So we'll get to this later. Let's go back to how we read these first early position and late position charts. Okay, so maybe it's best, I think, if we take some examples, and again we'll pull this down here, and let's take a double suited example, and apologies if that's gone off the screen, but it's going to be back on in a moment. And let's say we have, I mean, this is pretty going to be straightforward, ace, queen of diamonds with eight of clubs, queen of clubs. So to work out whether you should open that hand or not, we click on the ace queen of ace queen suited, along with queen eight. Oh, sorry, not along with. We then look over here, and we see our queen eight suited is coloured, so we can open that hand. Conversely, we could do it the other way around, and we could click on the queen eight suited, and obviously then the ace queen suited is also going to come up. So the order you do it when you're double suited doesn't matter. It's all going to be the same. When we get to other suits, it does matter, but I'll explain that to you in a moment. This hand here, let's have a look at this one. Two or three of hearts with 8, 10 of clubs. 2, 3 hearts with 8, 10 of clubs not there. So I mean 2 and 3 suited is pretty much not opening anything except another 3-2 suited and the ace 3 suited and the ace 2 suited. Okay, so now we move on to examples of single suited. And in this instance, what you need to do is make sure, and it's noted here, that you pick suited first. So in this example up here, let's go ace king suited with 8, 10 off. So we go 8 king suited, it's already picked there. With 8, 10 off, 10, 8 off, it's actually an open just at the bottom of our range. And let's do another one. I mean, these are going to, well, maybe not. This one may not be. Oh, no, I think it would be. Definitely. But, all right. Another example, let's move to rainbow. Now, rainbow is, it doesn't matter again because it's all going to be different suits. And let's pick an example here. What do we have? What do we got? Ace, queen, 8, queen. So ace, queen. Move that up. And 8, queen 8. And that is an open. Okay, so hopefully you get the idea there. The other one is triple suited, which this does matter as to what we pick first. You pick off suited first. So in this example here, let's pick this one here, which I think is going to be not an open. So we pick the offsuit first. You could, let's go pick these last two. So 8, 10 offsuit with 2, 3 suited. Okay, 8, 10, 10 out offsuit. 2, 3 suited. No, definitely not going to be opening that. Now, of course, and then there's mono. And mono is broken down into something pretty simple. You just want to be opening only these hands from early position, and if you get 3-bet, pretty much it's a fold with mono hands. So that's pretty straightforward. When we then get to late position, it's the same setup. However, the ranges, of course, are going to be getting wider. And let's have a look at an example of that just to see. I'm going to close this now, so the whole screen should be visible. And let's compare, let's say, rainbow 9-9 open. You can open 9-9 with all these in late position, but early position, if we were to go to rainbow 9-9, you're opening less hands, and then you can easily just click between the two. So it's a great tool for seeing what ranges you should be opening from early, from late position. And we have all the hand classes covered, and have this in a really nice layout where the cards are in symmetrical order, so you can pretty easily find them quickly. King 9 suited opens with those cards. Okay, so that is the early position and late position, and don't forget that they use hand classes. Of course, we want to know not only what to open, but what to do when we get 3-bet, 4-bet, and what we should cold call with. So in this instance, I decided that the best way to show that is by using hand categories, which I just described earlier on, but that's pretty much a rundown of them again. You can easily, that's going to be visible all the time if you want it to be, or you can just close it up. And it brings us down here, and we let's take aces for example. Raise first in strategy, and with aces you want to be raising obviously 100% of hands, and never fold. And then we go through all the raise first ins for all the other combinations. So Broadway pairs, for the other category, sorry, Broadway pairs, for example, you should be raising about 35% from early position. And there's some great tips here. So if you're holding an ace alongside your kings, queens, jacks, you want to open raise 100%. And then on the side, there are examples of what hands you should open. And then there's examples of what hands you should fold. And, King 10 suited with 10 to suited is a fold, whereas all these hands are an open. And then it goes so on and so forth, all the way down to 3 Broadways, non-Broadway. All the examples there, tips on what to do, the percentage you should be opening. You always got examples here. Double paired. I do have a note here about that, yeah, from the button that's 100%. And most hands from early position have double paired. And an example there of something you should probably fold from early position is jacks and twos. And then we go through all the hands, all the categories, sorry, with the RFI strategy. But not only RFI, we also have, for each hand category, we have what you should do if you're facing a raise in position. Again, let's use aces as an example. So if you're in late position and someone's raised ahead of you and you wake up with ace, ace, queen, queen, with 3 spades and a heart, you are obviously going to want to raise that. And the same with aces and queens. That's not double suited, but it's still a pretty good hand. So you're going to be raising it 90%, and they're obviously in the top 90% of your aces. As examples of things that of cards or combinations that you should think about just calling, 3 cards of the same suit when you have ace 5 2 and they're all the same suit, and really low raggedy hands, 6 2 off, or sorry, 6 hearts 2 of clubs, 9 of clubs, 4 of spades with the aces. That one you have no cards of the same suit. This one you have very low suits without any additional connectivity. But never ever fold aces. I hopefully don't have to tell you that. Big blind versus early position, and so on and so on. I'm not going to go through all of this. You get the general idea. It really helps to show you how to play each hand from each position. One spot I always have difficulty with is when you're in the big blind. I mean, obviously we want to raise a lot. Now you need to think about the person that raised, whether they're in early position or whether they're in late position on the button. So let's have a quick look at that. Early position, they're obviously going to have a narrow range, and you should be 3-betting about 80% of your hands, never folding, and calling about 20%. Aces with suits that have very little connectivity, such as 5-2 off, you would just flat those. I think everyone's default when they first start off playing PLO is aces. I've got aces, I'm 3-betting, and not 3-betting anything else, which is huge leak in your game. And then we look at big blind versus button, and obviously the open raiser's range is getting wider when they're on the button, so you can pretty much 3-bet about 95% of your hands. And then about 5% aces that don't have good connectivity, but and have very low cards, you could think about just calling, but again, never fold. So on and so forth. Facing 4-bets, what to do. I mean, you never want to fold your aces facing a 4-bet. Pretty much shove them. And how to play them against 2 players. Now this goes through again for all the other hand categories. Let's just pick one more, and we'll go for double paired, which is interesting. What do we do if we're double paired? We're facing a raiser, a single raiser in there from MP or early position, and we should raise about 20% of the time, 3-bet 20% of the time. And aces with 10s, obviously. 8s and 6s is another good candidate to 3-bet. We should fold about 25%, like the really bad stuff, 8s and 2s. And the other 55% we should just call with kings and 8s as an example. Okay, well I think that's hopefully explained, giving you a good general overview of how this Pot Limit Omaha Preflop Guru is set up. And the good news is it's not that expensive as far as comparing them to all the other Pot Limit Omaha preflop tools that are out there. So let's have a look at the pricing. Okay, so here we are on the pricing page. So I've changed a few things up. Anyone who's previously had GTO charts and they're subscribed to that, nothing's changed. You're still going to get all those charts. And we've kept those same price, $14.95 a month. And now we've introduced the pre-flop gurus. There's another one which I did not show you, but it's in a previous video. Maybe I can just briefly show you that. So for the PLO pre-flop guru and the spin and go pre-flop guru, you can pay $19.95 a month for that, and you get both those. And for $29.95 a month, you can get both the pre-flop gurus and all the GTO charts. Now, to save on that, if you intend to use it a lot, there are yearly subscriptions, which, when taken in consideration, save you a ton of money. So, 12 months of $14.95 would be about $179, but you can get it yearly for $99, and the gurus for $149, and everything for $250 for a year. Or if you just want to pay by the month, there's the prices for those. Let me give you a quick look at the Spin and Go Preflop Guru. There's some links down here to videos that you can go to also to have a look at both those. Okay, so this is the Spin and Go Preflop Guru for 4 to 25 BB, meaning you can just change the stack sizes to 25, 20, 15, 12, 10, so on and so forth, down to 4. And it's pretty simple to then just choose your position if you're on the button, and you're just raising first in. That's your range. If you then get 3-bet by the small blind, that's your range. And if you get 3-bet from the big blind, that's your range. And it's as simple as that. And each position's covered, small blind, big blind, and then each consequent action from your opponents are down here. And there's a random number generator there. So that's what you get for the pre-flop gurus. You get both those, and as I said before, you can get everything. You can get all our charts and all the gurus for this price. Okay, hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to check out the pre-flop PLO guru over on our site, and hope to speak to you soon.